Hi there, this is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with Expansions.com. I have another podcast, unfortunately, without Stewart because he is still down under but on his way home and hopefully will be joining us next week. Here in Michigan today, we have rain, almost 70 degrees. As you know, maybe this past week we had snow about 1.5 feet, about 1/3 of a meter. It was incredible, and today we're actually under a tornado watch, and we have had thunder and rain and all kinds of things. So you just never know in Michigan what's going to happen. Remember that letter M in hyperspace stands for unstable, and Michigan can be unstable, but it also allows for it to be an extremely multi-dimensional area, and a lot of very strange things happen here in Michigan. So with that said, I want to get started on telling you a few of the interesting stories that I have found for you this week that I want you to be sure and be aware of, because you just never know how things are going to be affecting your life. First story I want to talk to you about is Britain's Atlantis, which was found at the bottom of the North Sea. A huge undersea world swallowed by the sea in approximately 6500 BC. Now, apparently, divers who were searching for oil found traces of an ancient land that they say was swallowed by waves approximately 8,500 years ago. They're saying that at one time, Britain actually stretched from Scotland to Denmark, and that there are rivers that are seen underwater by seismic scans. Now, again, this is talking about the way the world used to be, and this is in preparation for raising of continents out of the ocean. And where else did we see this? Remember, Stewart told you not too long ago that we have sources in Iceland that are telling us that off the coast of Reykjavik, that there are also clues of underwater worlds there. They are also saying that at some time that this world that is now underwater had a population of tens of thousands, but that was devastated by the sea levels as they rose up. So again, they're taking your attention to what's under the water. Now, speaking of Britain and the UK, this story I found extremely interesting. You might have seen this one. Prince Harry is taking wounded servicemen and women on a trek to Antarctica. He's calling it Walking with the Wounded Challenge. He's 29 years old. 2 + 9 is 11, which is a double new beginning. He's going to take his adventurers. They're traveling 208 miles. 2 + 0 + 8 is 10. 1 + 0 is another 1, a new beginning. Now in this one, he says that these are wounded people from the war. He says if you've lost a leg or lost an arm, whatever the illness may be, I don't consider that an illness, but that's what he's saying, you can achieve pretty much anything you put your mind to. Now I just think this is so strange. They're going to be flying to Cape Town, South Africa, which we know there seems to be a special connection between the continent of Africa and the British royal family. They're going to be leaving from Cape Town. Now, interestingly here, they're also going to be pulling Arctic sledges weighing in excess of 11 stones. So we have his age is 29, which is 2 + 9 is 11. We have the 208 miles, which is a 10, which is a 1. We have 11 stone sledge that they're going to be pulling. Now, it just boggles my mind. It says as part of the expedition, Prince Harry spent a night, indicating one night, a night in a sub-zero army test facility in September. He and 4 teammates, who all lost limbs in Afghanistan, were subjected to ambient temperatures down to -35 C or -31 F, and wind speeds of 45 miles per hour or 72 kph. They expect to trek between 9 and 12 miles a day, maybe 11 for all I know, pulling these heavy sledges, and it says they're likely to encounter vast crevasses, moving ice shelves, glaciers, and snowstorms. So they spend one night in sub-zero type of location. They're going to encounter all this stuff. These people are missing limbs, and they're trekking across Antarctica. You know, this, remember, in December, of course, is their summer. And we were there in January, and even when we went for our shore expeditions, the crews from the ships would bring tents and all kind of supplies in case we would actually get stuck on the ice. So the weather in Antarctica can change on a dime. And we were aware of that when we made these shore excursions. So here they're taking all these people in this variety of health, I don't even call it health because they're disabilities more than health or illness issues, across this kind of terrain. It just boggles my mind is why in the world they're doing that. The race begins, they're calling this a race, November 30th, and they're supposed to reach the geographic South Pole by December 16th. And the other very odd thing that he said was Antarctica is the only place on Earth that is still as it should be. May we never tame that. But listen to this. But I can assure you the boys and girls behind me will do their very best. Boys and girls? These aren't boys and girls. These are servicemen and women. To call them boys and girls to me is like a total disservice. Why are they going to Antarctica? What is the real reason? It's happening close to the Christmas holiday. It's got to be some kind of ritual going on. If you've got ideas, let me know because I think it's very interesting. Now, again, next article, we are finding out that more U.S. citizens than ever are renouncing their citizenship. The Wall Street Journal has reported a new record set for expatriations, which is basically defined as citizens renouncing their citizenship or permanent residents giving back their green cards. It says that in the 2,369 expatriations have happened as of the end of the third quarter. There we go, they think that's important too. Sorry about that. That's an increase of 33% over 2011, which is the previous record holder. So something's going on with there. I think I put on my Facebook, Tina Turner just turned in her U.S. citizenship. They're making it a big deal. They want you to know that. So again, why? Okay, then we have a story about a boy, 2 years old, named Alfie Clamp, who was born blind with severe disabilities. So because of his disabilities, apparently, according to the article, the doctors have been carrying out a variety of tests and have found out that he actually has an extra strand of DNA. Now, this is something that's been going on with the New Age people for a long time, about all the extra DNA out there. These tests have revealed that he has a 7th chromosome, which has extra DNA. Has an extra strand of material, and it says it's never been documented before anywhere else in the world, and has doctors baffled at the condition, which is so rare it does not have a name. So I'm not exactly, again, sure what this means, but it's something, and when I feel the energy behind it, I'm going to tell you because I want you to watch for the trends. Something's going to happen of this. Joan Jett has been kicked off of our Thanksgiving Day parade float here in the U.S., which we will be celebrating very soon, because she is a vegetarian. Now, what better way to get the vegetarians upset than to kick somebody off of this big Thanksgiving Day parade and put this out into your minds again? So now I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of controversy between eating a turkey and not eating a turkey on Thanksgiving Day. So you watch for this one to keep cropping up, because vegetarianism and veganism continues to grow. They're promoting that as a health issue, and as you know, Stewart and I do not promote not eating meat. Perhaps for specific dietary reasons or health reasons or healing reasons, but not on a long-term continual basis. At this point, humanity is not ready for that. Now, we've also been talking to you about interesting things about the reptilians, and some of the latest people are saying that dinosaurs are on other planets and they have evolved, and they may even be evolved further than humanity. This story has to do kind of along that same line. This has to do about dinosaur brains, because apparently there's been no fossilized dinosaur brain actually found, just the skeletons. So enter Eric Jarvis, who's a neurobiologist at Duke University in North Carolina, who has been looking at the fresh post-mortem brains from American crocodiles, American alligators, which belong to the same group as crocodiles. He sliced them like deli meat, used a radioactive labeling method to measure which genes were active in the animals' brains. and then, for whatever reason, compared these brains with those of zebra finches, as well as turtles and lizards. Now, it turns out that the alligator brain is about 85% similar to the bird brain and contains 6 of the 7 major regions found in the bird brain. So in birds, 2 of these regions are involved in vocal learning. And that says, like bird brains, the alligator brains had genes that became active in response to sounds from other members of their species. So, based on the structure of bird brains and alligator brains, Jarvis's team is inferring that dinosaurs must have sported a similar brain with a cortex and 6 subdivisions, and therefore the capacity for sophisticated behavior. And Jarvis says, quote, dinosaurs may be underrated in complexity. So again, they're bringing this forward to you, allowing you to think in a different way about dinosaurs, because before they said their brains were very small and they had very limited brain capacity. That's changing. The last story is a little bit longer. I believe this is my last story. Just make a check. Yeah, this is a little bit longer, but it's very important in my opinion, because as you know, Stewart and I tell you all the time not to take drugs really of any kind. Now, of course, if you need it for medical reasons, that's one reason, but too many people, unfortunately, in our opinion, are focusing in on hallucinogenics and using those as excuses not to do their mental work. They're trying to find something that will do the work for them. If you've been on my Facebook fan page and you read my article on what is the astral realm, or I also have that on our site under public articles, what is the astral realm, you will understand how we talk about the drugs, the hallucinogenics, actually open you up and loosen the chakra system, your energy body, your energy field from the physical body, which allows more astral entities to attach or influence you, and unfortunately that's usually negatively. So with that in mind, I found this article extremely interesting. It's called The Secret Life of Plants. And this article starts out about a normal person, of course, just your average person, who'd been invited to a vision quest in a New York apartment with 6 other middle-aged urban professionals and a pot of sassafras tea. Now, sarsaparilla, which is the active ingredient in sassafras, according to this, is a mild hallucinogen known to cause trance-like experiences when taken in small amounts. And then it says, do not try this at home. Well, of course, people are going to try this at home. Now, I've also had, being from the South, sarsaparilla was brewed up into tea and carbonated beverages and has a very pleasant flavor. I've never heard it before said that it is a mild hallucinogen, but this is now what the article is saying. So now they're saying that these urban people, middle-aged, came together. They were supervised by a Jewish shaman who's a medical doctor in real life, and the people had life-changing experiences from the sarsaparilla and felt like they had been reborn. Now here it says that this particular woman they're talking about, that when these people take the sarsaparilla, apparently they're given people to journey with, and they have this word teachers in quotes. So then from there, this woman took morning glory. Then she took something called wild lettuce, and also mugwort tea. And according to all of this, all these things are hallucinogenics. Now, then the author who's writing this says, I'll quote her, after dinner, I think about her rebirth with and I'll have what she's having, covetous envy. It's not that I have anything against getting high. I was a major stoner from 15 to 18, dragged out of class in handcuffs in 10th grade for dealing pot, totaled cars while driving on Quaaludes, ate peyote buttons at Passover dinner, dropped liquid LSD into my eyeballs, snorted Peruvian flake cocaine with my girlfriend the night of our disastrous prom. To me, this sounds like a made-up article. I mean, who does all these things? But maybe it's true, I don't know. But I want you to hear what's going on. So, she says that the altered states till adolescence nearly killed her. Since then, she steered clear of mind-bending substances. And she doesn't count pot, of course I do. Now she claims she has self-control. Then she said that when she wrote an article in 2000 about ecstasy, a researcher sent her 2 capsules of pure MDMA in the mail. She didn't take those. However, since drugs are a thing of the past, this woman invited her to a lotus eating club for 50-somethings, and the thought of a vision quest seemed appealing. She says she has her own healing to do where her heart is closed. So she's thinking if a cup of herbal tea can help her shift these demons, wouldn't that be a trip worth taking? So she's into a health food store. She's taking a look at all the herbs, and she's thinking, my therapist cost me $125 an hour for her healing wisdom. But it's so much cheaper to buy the herbs. So again, this is putting it out there for your average, ordinary person to go out there and do hallucinogens. And this is just an average person's article. I thought this so interesting. So again, I'm going to tell you, if you do hyperspace oversoul techniques, if you do your mind pattern work and your mind pattern analysis, you can keep your energy field intact, you can keep your physical body intact, you can increase your health, you can open up that area of the brain naturally without all these artificial aids, which you can get into big trouble with not knowing what you're doing. Your body's not prepared, your mind's not prepared, you are being bombarded right now to take these sort of things, and if you fall into this trap, you are going to be responsible for the effects of that. So please, please, please use discretion. Don't do these things. Do your hyperspace oversoul work. You know, in January, we do have our week-long class, Hyperspace Oversoul Extravaganza. This is out there as a week where you can make tremendous changes within your mind, your body, your spiritual work, your emotional work, your body. Everything can change for the good. So if you are considering such a thing because it's cheap, think like 16 times or more, because this stuff is just not healthy for you in any way, shape, or form. I also want to tell you that Stewart has been invited back after 5 long years to the George Norrie Show, November 26th from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight Pacific time. We, of course, are on Eastern time, so for us, that's going to be like 1 a.m. in the morning to about 3 a.m. in the morning on the morning of November 27th. So please check your time carefully so you don't miss this, and please tell your friends and share. We want as many people as possible to be aware of our hyperspace oversoul techniques. We want them to know about the work that we're doing. We want them to know that every single person out there can open up the 97% of the brain that's not being used, and you can do that with these tools and techniques. You do not need artificial help in any way, shape, or form. So with that said, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to having Stewart back with me again next week when I do my next podcast. I know you're looking forward to seeing him as well. I'm sure he's going to have to watch all these podcasts to catch up on all these fantastic stories that he's missing out on. So anyway, before you know it, he will be here with us. Thank you so much for joining me once more. Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow, Expansions.com. Bye-bye now.